Hello everyone and welcome to our webcast organized by Sage. We're live today during the next hour to keep you posted about the SEPA migration and its impact on your business. But before introducing our guests, let me give you first a quick insight on the agenda today. Well, during the first 20 minutes, our experts will tell you everything you need to know about the SEPA. What is it about? How will it affect your business? What are the main challenges? How should you prepare your SEPA migration in order to benefit from it? Whether you're ready or not, ladies and gentlemen, the clock is ticking as it will become mandatory for most European countries in exactly 78 days from now. That is on the 1st of February 2014. And in our second part, during the remaining 40 minutes, you will be able to interact with us, yes, by sending your questions, which will be directly answered by our experts in our studio here today. But of course, they will try to answer to most of them depending on the time. But any that they are unable to answer will be posted on the website sagerpx3.com. So you can start sending us your question by typing them in the chat box, which is located on the right-hand side of your screen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me now introduce our guest today. Please welcome on my left, Josie Texera, Product Manager, Sage Mid-Market Europe. On my right here, Nicolas de la Rosière, Product Manager, Sage Mid-Market Europe and Sage RPX3. Charles-Henri Dubarry, Head of Global Direct Channels, Connect and Swift from HSBC, all the way from London. And next to me, Robin Castile, Treasurer of Otis, France, right? United Technologies Holdings. So hello everyone and thank you for joining me today. Okay, well, why are we here today? We're talking about an economic zone in which actually consumers, companies will be able to make and receive payments in euro with exactly the same conditions, rights and obligations, and that regardless to their location. Okay, this is what we're talking about. Probably, let's set the context with you, Charles.
Yes.
I mean, from a bank perspective. So
from a bank perspective, SEPA is a long journey, started in 2008 with the Payment Service Directive, which gave the legal framework to the further steps related to SEPA. Then in 2012 came what we called in our jargon the end date regulation, which has two main impacts, which fix the date for the end of the migration to SEPA by the 1st of February 2014. And also fix another date, which is also important, which is the 31st of October 2016, which will be the last chance for several countries in order to jump into this fantastic SEPA world.
Okay, so what type of payments are we talking about here?
The main payments that are concerned with the SEPA migration are the transfer, and any country will shift out of their domestic wire or transfer payments into what we call the SEPA credit transfer. And the second mean of payments that is concerned is the direct debits, which will become SEPA direct debit.
Okay, so we're just talking about credit transfers and direct debits, so at Sage level, Josie?
Absolutely, yes. These two payments, the particularity of these two payments is they are based on the European standard, XML. That's the first technical impact for the company. And with the same condition as you said at the beginning. Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
And the last one I forget is also that the account number will be in big IBAN for every country of the SEPA zone.
All right. And if we speak about the perimeter of action, are we talking about all European countries? What are the countries we're talking about here?
Let me show you the slide where you can see all the European country concerned. Mostly, and at first, 1st of February 2014, you have all Eurozone countries in Euro concerned with the migration.
Okay, so I mean the deadline 2014, 1st February 2014 is for all those countries.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And are there countries, outside the zone that will be impacted? So what about those countries we are doing business with?
Most of the non-euro countries, meaning any countries dealing in another currency, will mostly be impacted by October 2016.
So I think you have a list, right, of the countries that are probably, yes, show the people, yeah.
So, for example, Germany, France are concerned with the 1st of February end date, 2014, whereby countries like United Kingdom for their euro payments will only have to migrate by end of October 2016.
All right. Okay, let's now move on and speak about the challenges. I think that's the most interesting part. So what are the main challenges today? I mean, broadly speaking, probably Nicholas.
Main challenges for enterprises is to be able to migrate. That means to be compliant with the new regulation, and that means to improve their back office systems in order to be able to process payments, both direct debits and credit transfers.
And in terms of companies, Robin, probably from your perspective.
Depending upon the size of the country, if you're a large company, it can have a very big impact because you can be talking about a lot of services within the company, one that handles customer payments, client, supplier payments, payroll payments, and you need to organize the migration to be sure that you take into account the needs of all the different services in your company, which make payments or receive payments.
Okay, all right. Now at bank level, Charles, where do you stand today? Are you all set, ready for what's coming up?
Thanks God, we are all set. And we have been working for SEPA, as I mentioned at the start, since several years in order to be ready much earlier than the end date. So don't worry, we are ready. And we are happy to welcome any new corporates that wants to migrate or has already migrated to the SEPA framework.
Okay, talking about that, I know that you have been working together with Sage to create this unique XML-based format that you were talking about earlier on. Probably, Josie and Nicola, could you tell us a bit more of what has been done in that field?
To be sure that our customer will be focused on their internal system and for the migration, we have we had many tests with HSBC to be sure of the compliance of our solution. And for corporate is an asset on the migration. That's the main topic that we have made with HSBC to be sure that we are compliant with our system. And for the corporate, they will be more focused on the internal system, the workflow on the company, rather than to try to make more tests with the banks. They have to do some tests, but we have made the job to be compliant.
All right. What do you mean that what you've done with the bank together is to actually create something that will help companies to their migration become more easier? Actually, this is what you guys have tried to do.
In fact, as mentioned by Robin, at the start of a migration, you need to review all of your internal processes which end up into a payment. You mentioned payroll. We could mention receivables. We can mention supplier payments. You need to list each and any payment that may be impacted by SEPA.
Okay.
So it's a huge piece of work on the corporate end. So at HSBC, what we did is we tried to, let's say, make it easy to buy from HSBC. And to that extent, we worked closely with José and Nicolas and their teams in order to pre-test and preload their SEPA outward maps in order to make sure that any corporate using Sage as a treasury workstation, for example, is ready to go with HSBC when migrating, which means that with 200% of certainty, we can assure you that any SCT map coming out from any Sage solution will go through the HSBC processes.
Okay, all right. Okay, I know that there are lots of corporates watching us today. So what does this imply for companies? And I think the best person here is Robin, right? So Robin, what does this imply for companies?
If you are a large corporate company and you only are working inside your own boundaries of your country, there's probably not that much impact for the SEPA, except that you have to be compliant to be able to continue making your payments and receiving payments inside of your country. It can have a larger impact if you are based in one country and you're doing supplier payments in the SEPA area outside of your country, and if you're receiving customer payments from customers outside of your home country.
Okay, so basically, what are the main impacts once you've migrated, on the business?
Some benefits. Well, there's a standardization of their file format that you use for the payments. And this standardization, because of the SEPA rules, you should be able to make payments outside of your home countries with the same conditions that you had inside your home countries. So you can have a significant decrease in bank fees if you're making supplier payments in the SEPA area outside of your country.
So it's
100-fold.
Oh, wow. Okay, and the benefits? The benefits, Josie, Nicola, for companies, what you would like to add in terms of, I don't know, suppliers?
As if companies have to operate in several countries in the SEPA area and so on, the main benefit is that, as you said, Robin, the standardization of all the processes. So the main benefits, I guess, from banks and companies could be waited for. That means standardization and optimization of processes and transactions and so on.
Okay, all right.
It's that direct impact on maintenance, for example, of all local formats. That is a huge job for companies that operate in several countries in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that a better tracking of the payment, because we have more information, and we are sure that the information will go through the different banking system to go to the customer. And also better reconciliation of the information, because we receive more information to reconcile on the ERP system.
So it's easier to track.
Easier to track, and yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, probably it's interesting to tell the audience, so how should they prepare their SEPA migration? Probably, Charles, we'll start with you. How should they prepare their migration? I know there are lots to say in that field, but just very quickly.
Very quickly, I think it's a matter of urgency now. As you mentioned, we are 78 days.
Yeah, clock is ticking, tick, tick, tick.
Yeah, the clock is ticking. And the first urgency is to get your system SEPA compliant. The downturn of not being compliant is huge. It's that you will put all your payment business and receivable business at risk.
Okay.
Which means by the 2nd of February 2014, you can close down your business, because no more of your legal domestic payments will be processed.
Oh my God, okay.
If you are not SEPA compliant.
Oh, you're putting lots of pressure, Charles.
Yeah, I'm just setting up the scene.
Okay, let's have a perspective here from Otis, Robin.
I think it's very important when you begin your project is you need to, I would say 2 project managers. You need a project manager for the finance side, and the IT side, because both are very involved in the SEPA migration process to be sure that the systems can make the files in the SEPA format, and that the finance customers, whether it be payroll, accounts payable, or customer payments, that they are getting what they need out of the system, that they'll be able to continue making payments and processing client payments that come in with their accounts payable or accounts receivable systems.
Okay. Okay, if I'm a company, right? I need to migrate. So, what are the key aspects I need to focus on? I need to make an assessment of where I stand, and then what are the next steps? Probably,
I think
Robin.
what Charles said first is very important to do a cartography, if you will, a workflow of what you're doing today, the files that you generate today for payments, and then to see if your ERP system, meaning your accounting system, is capable to make the files in the new SEPA format. If not, then your treasury platform needs to be able to convert your files that come out of your system today into the new SEPA credit transfer format. And it also needs to be able to afterwards handle SEPA direct debits if you are doing direct debits on your customers.
Okay, that's the first step. So make an assessment of that and see if it's
Assessment.
possible or not.
See what you're doing today and what you'll need to do tomorrow to be compliant with the SEPA requirements.
And basically, if you're not, you're not compliant, and then what is the next step? Charles,
I think that...
don't freak them out.
No, no,
okay.
no, don't worry, don't worry. Sorry for the pressure previously, but I think it's important to point out the urgency of kicking off a project today. For companies that haven't started the SEPA project, my recommendation would be to do this cartography exercise and rush out to either our good friends from SAGE or even HSBC, where we have built up consultancy teams as well as integration teams in order to help, advise and handhold corporates in order to achieve this challenge to be SEPA compliant in less than 80 days. Okay? In addition to what Robin said, I would say, of course, you need a project manager. You need it on the business side, which means finance department side as well as IT. You also need a strong sponsor at the executive level. It is crucial for you as a corporate to successfully deliver SEPA payments in less than 80 days.
Okay, and this can jeopardize your business if you're not ready.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would say the bright light at the end of the tunnel would be that once you are SEPA compliant, you will have lots of opportunity beyond SEPA. Okay? Which specifically if you are having activities outside the SEPA zone, where the same concept of single format will apply, and that's, I think, an area that hasn't been looked at enough, and we at HSBC are investing massively in order to bring to our corporates more than a pure compliance exercise to a new regulation. There are a lot to gain out of XML, which is the basis of SEPA.
All right, okay. Probably we have Robin here, so just seize the opportunity to talk about your migration process. So was it long? How long did it last in your company?
Well, I don't want to scare anybody, but our project lasted almost 2 years.
2 years.
We began in 2010. But
Okay.
I said 2 years because we began with a request for proposal to see if we wanted to change treasury systems.
Okay.
And when we found our supplier, which was Sage, we signed the contract in beginning of 2011, and deployment lasted for a year. But it, again, not to scare anybody who's watching, our project was complicated because not only we were going to SEPA format, for credit transfers, we are also changing our bank connectivity system to go from the French standard, which was Está,
All right.
to our parent company choice, which was SwiftNet. And that complicated and
that's why
made the project last
You did it
longer.
one shot.
We did everything at the same time. We changed our bank connectivity from Está to SwiftNet. We became SEPA compliant at the same time.
All right, so now you're all set to face the deadline?
Well, in February, we began with the SEPA credit transfers and via SwiftNet. And the last part of the project, which is SEPA direct debit, we began this year. The project is underway, and we should be going live by January.
All right, so you will be ready then.
We will be ready. We have no choice.
Just to, because the hour is gone, so just very quickly to sum up what we've talked about today. So SEPA, time for action, so stop thinking, just go for it. This is what we want to share today. So probably just to finish a word of conclusion, Josie.
Yeah, really only one word. It's time to act for a company who will not begin the project. And there's a huge benefits for project, but first step, as Charles has said, first step, be compliant, be cautious, be compliant. First step.
Something nice to the audience, Charles, not to freak them out.
Yeah, it's a fantastic world, the XML1. It will bring a lot of value to your organization. As we discuss it, you can use XML in more than 50 countries outside SEPA. You can streamline your processes. You can gain a lot of efficiency and productivity. You can gain for a corporate much more visibility on your cash, which remains a key point and increasing area of concern from corporates. You can also, with XML, enter new fields, meaning getting your trade finance business much more under control. So there are so many benefits beyond SEPA that please act on SEPA as soon as possible so that we can have some fruitful and positive discussion beyond February 2014.
Yes.
Just 2 words, Nicolas, just before we leave.
Yes, I think software vendors, especially Sage, have done the maximum in order to propose some efficient systems.
Solutions, yeah.
And the good thing, I think, is that we collaborate, banks and editors, together in order to make the project the easiest
If possible.
as possible.
And from a company perspective, Robin, just to...
From a company perspective, get started quickly.
That would be the...
As soon as this call, the
This
web conference
is
is
over, so start
If you haven't started,
acting.
start acting.